Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back in with another video, and this is my list for the top 10 most important LEGO Star Wars sets. I went back and forth with the title of this video, and let me try to best explain what this list is about. I wanted to compile a list that I felt were the 10 most meaningful sets to the history of LEGO Star Wars. I felt this was appropriate with it being the 20th anniversary of the theme. These sets signify a landmark moment in LEGO Star Wars. Some of them were the beginning of an overall trend in the direction of the theme, and others are outliers, unprecedented sets that, while they didn't influence any other sets like it, gave us a good indicator of the potential of LEGO Star Wars sets. Let's jump right into it. Number 10 is the 8014 Clone Walker Battle Pack, released in 2009. I knew there was no way I could make this list without including this set. I understand the hilarity and the fact that this set was also on my top 10 overrated sets video. If you haven't watched that video, you definitely should. Apparently there's a lot of hot takes in it, but even I can't deny just how important this set was to the LEGO Star Wars community. There was a huge period of army building in the community during the late 2000s, and many of those armies were built on this set. LEGO even advertises on the front of the box, "Build your army." With the way that most battle packs are constructed nowadays, there's no way they could get away with saying that. Even though I'm not a fan of the figures in this set, the general idea of it is awesome. $12 for 3 generic Phase 1 clones and a gunner. You'd want a big quantity of every clone in that battle pack. Doesn't get much better than that. Number 9 on the list is set number 10123, Cloud City, released in 2003. A year ago, this set would have been much higher on this list, but with the release of Betrayal at Cloud City late last year, this had to be dropped a few spots. That being said, this set is still special for so many reasons. Firstly, it was the big scenery Star Wars set that had ever been released, and it really remained that way until the release of the Death Star playset in 2008. It also was one of a kind in its subject matter. Up until the Carbon Freezing Chamber and set in 2016, this was the only set with scenery from Cloud City. With how many Hoth sets LEGO pumped out over the years, it's crazy to think that Cloud City has been ignored for so long. It's also worth mentioning that the figures in this set are so costly. I don't think there's another set with figures as costly as the ones in this set. I mean, the Leia will cost you around $60, the Lando $80 to $90, the Luke for $80 to $100 just for the belt, and the Boba Fett for $300. Thinking of those prices makes me even more thankful for Betrayal at Cloud City. Number 8 on this list is set number 75087, Anakins Custom Jedi Starfighter from 2015. I want to tell you right now that this is probably the most shocking set on this list, but I think I have some sound reasoning. In the grand scheme of things, this set is pretty forgettable. But this was the first Clone Wars set that LEGO released with non-stylized minifigures. The days where all of our Star Wars figures had big bug eyes and overly simplified prints were over. This decision was so important to me for the sole reason of consistency. Regardless of how you feel about the Clone Wars figures, you have to admit that they look drastically different from the movie-styled figures, and I don't really like using them together. This change gave me hope that we would eventually get nice and detailed versions of a lot of the Clone Wars figures that I wouldn't have to be embarrassed to use. Although those figures have come pretty sporadically since then, I'm loving this decision by LEGO. Number 7 on this list is set number 10236, Ewok Village, released in 2013. Scenery sets in Star Wars are still uncommon, and this was the biggest attempt at one at the time if we ignore the Death Star playset. I feel like this set really gave us a template for many figure-heavy UCS sets of this size, like Assault on Hoth. You might say that the original playset Death Star pioneered this, but I like to distinguish them from each other like such. The original Death Star really needed all the figures that it included to fill out the various rooms throughout it. I feel like this set was much more generous in that respect. This set gave us 5 different Ewoks. LEGO could have easily given us Wicket with a couple of the same generic Ewoks, but they instead decided to look deeply into the character list on Endor and give us some pretty awesome unique figures. To this day, there are still half a dozen figures that are unique to this set. Number 6 is the original UCS Millennium Falcon, set number 10179, released in 2007. Until the re-release, this was the largest LEGO set, so it had to make the list. It is huge, iconic, and most importantly, expensive. In hindsight, it really is ridiculous to think at how high the prices for this set got, and really even still are. I feel like the set really influenced how the aftermarket for big Star Wars sets work. Nowadays, people actively look for new Star Wars set releases to set aside as an investment in hopes that it will someday reach anywhere near the prices that this guy reached. Number 5 on my list is going to be set number 10195, the Republic Dropship with AT-OT Walker, released in 2009. I was entering my dark ages whenever this set came out, but even I caught wind of this set and I wanted it badly. This is one of those sets on the list that's an outlier. LEGO really hasn't made anything like this since the set was released. It comes with 2 huge vehicle builds in one box. This set is important because it showed us 2 things. The first is that this type of set could work out. Like I said, LEGO since this point has not made a Star Wars set with 2 huge vehicle builds, but this showed us that it is at least possible to do so. And then secondly, it shows us that big prequel sets can work. This is the biggest prequel set we've ever gotten by like $100. This set is so sought after too. If this isn't proof that we desperately need more prequel UCS sets, then I really don't know what is. Number 4 on the list is the 10188 Death Star set, released in 2008. This set catches a lot of flack because it's a playset with no exterior, but this is easily a standout LEGO Star Wars set. To this day, this set has the second most minifigures ever included in a Star Wars set, only second to its remake. Up until the point that this set was released, sets anywhere near this price range had been reserved for UCS ship models. This was LEGO's first attempt to venture into a large-scale playset, and it was very successful. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that this is the best-selling LEGO Star Wars set of all time in terms of the money they made. It also had the longest lifespan of any Star Wars set to this day. Number 3 on this list is the 10212 UCS Imperial Shuttle, released in 2010. I put this set on the list for a couple of reasons. The first is its design. To this day, this has to be the large LEGO set with the least amount of studs showing, and I think that that's awesome. This thing is unlike any other Star Wars set for that reason. It showed that LEGO wasn't afraid to make a mostly snot build, and I think it worked out. This set is absolutely beautiful. The second reason I put this set on the list is because aside from the first UCS Falcon, this was the first UCS set that was minifig scale and meant to be displayed with minifigs. I feel like this set was important in showing LEGO that they can put out a detailed minifigure scale version of a previously system scale ship and still have it sell well. I'd like to think that this set influenced the scale of the UCS Slave 1, which was awesome. For me, this is the ideal type of UCS set. Big, beautiful, detailed, and minifig scale. Number 2 on the list is going to be the 75192 UCS Millennium Falcon, released in 2017. It's hard to not have this on the list just because of the price alone. If this wasn't a remake, it'd probably be at number 1. I don't know if there's ever been a more anticipated LEGO Star Wars set than this one. The original Falcon's aftermarket prices created a demand for this thing that LEGO would have been stupid not to capitalize on. At retail, this is the most expensive LEGO set ever, and the second most expensive set is $300 cheaper. I don't know what other Star Wars set LEGO could get away with making it this price and expect it to do well, but this set is at least proof that it's possible. With an $800 set on the shelves selling well, the possibilities of LEGO Star Wars sets are endless at this point. Number 1 on the list is the 7655 Clone Troopers Battle Pack. This was the original battle pack, and it really changed everything about LEGO Star Wars. To this day, LEGO still makes battle packs, and they are among the most anticipated sets every single year. As a kid around this time, I always wanted more clones, but it just wasn't possible for me to get multiples of the larger sets that they came in. This set changed that, and I could not have been more happy with it. This was one of the first sets that I got multiples of when I was younger. This was also the first set to introduce the new non-megaphone blasters that they are still using to this day over 10 years later. Everything about this set is iconic to LEGO Star Wars. Even the simple formula of a speeder build and a small turret is still used today in battle packs. LEGO knocked this set out of the park, and for many LEGO Star Wars fans, this is the most important part: army building. And that's going to finish up the video today, guys. I'd love to know in the comment section whether or not you agree with my choices on this list. Do you think that I missed any very important Star Wars sets that should have been included on this list? Definitely let me know in the comment section. This is a super fun video to make just because I really got to go back and relive a lot of the history of LEGO Star Wars, look at a bunch of sets that I thought were important, and then compile a list of them in the order that I thought that I saw fit. That's going to finish up the video. Like I always say, guys, if you like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.